Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So now we continue our lesson on ER modeling part 3, which focus on structural constraints in the ER diagram. So for part 3, we will learn about how to examine the constraints that may be placed on entity types that participate in a relationship. The constraints should reflect the restrictions on the relationships as perceived in the real world. Okay, the main type of constraint on relationships is called multiplicity, or sometimes we call as cardinality and modality. Multiplicity is the number or range of possible occurrences of an entity type that may relate to a single occurrence of an associated entity type through a particular relationship. So it represents policies or core business rules established by user or company. As we mentioned earlier, the most common degree for relationships is binary. Binary relationships are generally referred to as being one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many. So, how to determine the multiplicity for each of these constraints and how to represent each in an ER diagram? So, first, we need to produce a semantic net with sample occurrences that can best represent the relationship of entities, and next we analyze the semantic net. Okay, now we refer to the one-to-one relationship in this slide. So consider the relationship managed in this slide, which relates the staff and branch entity type. As we know, each relationship represents the association between a single staff entity occurrence and a single branch entity occurrence. So we represent each entity occurrence using the values for the primary key attributes of the staff and branch entities, which are staff number and branch number. So from this semantic net, we can see that staff number as G45 manage branch number B003 and staff number SL21 manage branch number B005. But staff number SG37 does not manage any branch. In other words, a member of staff can manage 0 or 1 branch, and each branch is managed by one member of staff. As there is a maximum of 1 branch for each member of staff involved in this relationship, and a maximum of 1 member of staff for each branch, so we refer to this type of relationship as one-to-one. In diagrammatic view, this is how it can be represented. As you can see here, to represent that a member of staff can manage 0 or 1 branch, so we place 0.1 beside the branch entity, and to represent that a branch always has 1 manager, we place 1.1 beside the staff entity. Multiplicity of managed relationship is one-to-one, shown through the maximum range value on the multiplicity at both ends of relationship. And you can refer to both here. Kenapa pula? And this is a diagrammatic view or ER diagram of the staff overseas properties for an relationship. Okay, to represent that a member of staff can oversee 0 or more properties for an, we place a 0 ... beside the property for an entity. And to represent that each property for an is overseen by 0 or 1 member of staff, we place 0.1 beside a staff entity. Okay, next is about many-to-many relationship. Okay, we consider the relationship advertised here, which relates the newspaper and property foreign entity types. There are 4 occurrences of the advertised relationship in this semantic net. Okay, from this figure, we can see that Glasgow Daily advertise property PG21 and PG36. The West News also advertise property number PG36. And next, the Aberdeen Express advertise property number PA14. However, property number PG4 is not advertised in any newspaper. So, in other words, we can say that one newspaper advertise one or more properties for foreign, and one property foreign is advertised in 0 or more newspaper. Therefore, for newspaper, there are many properties foreign, and for each property foreign participating in this relationship, there are many newspaper. So, we refer to this type of relationship as many-to-many. And this is an ER diagram of the newspaper advertised property foreign relationship. Okay, to represent that each newspaper can advertise one or more property foreign, so we place a 1 ... star beside the property foreign entity type. And to represent that each property foreign can be advertised by 0 or more newspapers, so we place a 0 ... star beside the newspaper entity. So, as we can see here, for newspaper, there are many property foreign, and for each property foreign participating in this relationship, there are many newspapers. So, we refer to this type of relationship as many-to-many. Okay, move on to the multiplicity for complex relationships. For example, the multiplicity for a ternary relationship represents the potential range of entity occurrences of a particular entity in the relationship when the other two values representing the other two entities are fixed. So, we consider the ternary register relationship between staff, branch, and client in this slide. As shown here, there are 5 occurrences of the register relationship denoted R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5. And for your information, each relationship here represents the association of a single staff entity occurrence, a single branch entity occurrence, and a single client entity occurrence. So, based on this figure, we examine the register relationship when the values for the staff and branch entities are fixed. Okay, in this figure, with the staff number / branch number values fixed, there are 0 or more client number values. For example, staff number SG37 at branch number B003 registers client number CR56 and CR74. Okay, next, staff number SG14 at branch number B003 register client number CR62, CR84, and CR91. However, staff number SG5 at branch number B003 here register no clients. So, we can say that when the staff number and branch number values are fixed, the corresponding client number values are 0 or many. The slide shows an ER diagram of the ternary register relationship showing multiplicity. As you can see here, the multiplicity of the registers relationship from the perspective of the staff and branch entities is 0 dot dot star, which is represented in the ER diagram by placing the 0 dot dot star beside the client entity. Okay, this table shows a summary of the possible ways that multiplicity constraints can be represented, along with a description of the meaning. Okay, next we will go further on the structural constraints, which divided into cardinality and participation. So from multiplicity, we can actually identify two types of restrictions on relationships, known as cardinality and participation. Cardinality means it describes maximum number of possible relationship occurrence for an entity participating in a given relationship type. So it appears as the maximum values for the multiplicity range on either side of the relationship. Okay, for participation, it determines whether all or only some entity occurrences are involved in a particular relationship. Normally, we describe the participation as all or not all. The participation of entities in a relationship appears as the minimum values for the multiplicity range on either side of the relationship. Mandatory participation, or all, is represented as a minimum value of 1, and optional participation, which is not all or only some, is represented as a minimum value of 0. Okay, how to determine an entity's participation on a diagram? Okay, actually, it is important to note that the participation for a given entity in a relationship is represented by the minimum value on the opposite side of the relationship. So, if value is 0, then the opposite entity in that relationship has an optional participation. However, if value is 1, then the opposite entity in that relationship has a mandatory participation. So, if we refer to the figure in this slide, we can see that the optional participation for the staff entity in the managed relationship is shown as a minimum value of 0 for the multiplicity beside the branch entity, and the mandatory participation for the branch entity in the managed relationship is shown as a minimum value of 1 for the multiplicity beside the staff entity. Okay, as a conclusion of this topic, I would like to ask you, why do we need to understand and able to differentiate between the different type of structural constraints in the ER model? So the answer may be, this is due to we need to create the relational schemas based on the entities relationship in the ER diagram. And for your information, different type of constraints will affect the schemas created. However, we will discuss further on this part in the logical database design topic. Okay, so I think that's all for the ER modeling topic, and I hope everyone can understand this topic very well, and thank you.